Baruch Hashem, I got to go to the mikveh. Let's talk a little bit about Purim. I sure hope I'm not the only source of Jewish information for my viewers, but I came to the realization I might be for some of them, especially if they're Jewish. Again, I hope you have better sources of information than me. But we have the 4 mitzvahs of the day. One of which we do both night and day is we hear the Megillah or read the Megillah. If for some reason you don't have access to actually kosher Megillah to actually hear live in shul, there are, I believe, several shuls and yeshivas and so forth that are live streaming their Megillah service, and there are opinions that one fulfills the obligation through the live stream, especially a Shas Dechak. If you're from the Machmirim on Pekuach Nefesh this year, you can at least B'diavad, maybe L'chatchila, listen to it on YouTube. I'm sure Yeshiva University is doing it again this year, and maybe some other places. So it's worthwhile, not a recording, to listen to the real thing. If you have a kosher Megillah and you don't know how to read it, you can listen to a recording and you read along. You say the words along with the, meaning you can basically read it, but you're having a hard time. You don't know the Nekudas. You can read along. Also, you can read it in from a Chumash, but not with the brachas, or you can read it in English or any language that you understand. Maybe say the brachas in English also. The next part of the and if you don't have a kosher Megillah, you should also say Hallel without a bracha tomorrow. But we read the Megillah night and day, or listen to the Megillah, and it's supposed to be from a kosher Megillah. But if you're in a situation you don't have access, you do what you do. You do what you can do. But certainly there are opinions that you can listen to it live on Zoom or YouTube live, whatever, live stream, Facebook live, whatever it is. And you can maybe start looking now to make sure you have somewhere you can hear from a kosher Megillah. If you can't actually go to shul or have someone bring you a Megillah, or you don't have a Megillah. The other mitzvahs, there's Matanos Lavyonim, which is to give gifts to the poor, and there's certain guidelines of who is considered an Evyon. So while you give to as many people as you can to at least fulfill your obligation, give to 2 poor people. I was always taught that it should be enough that they could buy something to eat, although there are opinions that you just give whatever, even a small amount, to 2 poor people. But if you give something at least like $5, $10, something like that, $6, something around that, at least when I was a kid, the number we were generally given was $5.50. It was enough for like a decent meal, that you could have a piece of bread and some meat and something, a sandwich, and like maybe one of those sandwiches that they sell at the gas station, the kosher sandwiches that have meat in them, so however much that is, something like that, you can fulfill the mitzvah, so of eating the Suda, meaning that's why you're giving the gifts, is so that the poor person would have enough money that they could eat the meal we'll discuss next. But you have to make sure that at least the obligation is fulfilled with people who are actually an Evian, actually not able to support themselves. And in order to do that properly, we go to certain organizations like the Od Yosef Chai is very good. That's what I always gave to Kupas Ha'ir and a lot of others. And we give as much as you can. You should spend more money on giving to the poor than anything else. The next thing is to give to your friends. You give at least to one friend 2 food items. A lot of people like to give more, but all you really have to do is 2 food items to one friend. A lot of people say it should be 2 different brachas, but that's not really true. But but it doesn't hurt. This way, it helps the kids learn the brachas, right? And then of course is the Suda to eat some bread, some fish, some meat. There's different customs, kreplach and and stuffed cabbage and hamantash and things like that. And that's how we do that. And then and you should wash and eat bread and drink wine. Since tomorrow's Friday, you should finish that before noon. Whatever actual solar noon is in your area, like around here, I think it's actually something like 12:10, 12:11, 12:15, something like that. Should be finished eating by then. You could still bench after that, but at least finish eating most of the meal before that time. This way, you still have room to enjoy a good Shabbos meal. You know, uh, in the regular year, when it's not Friday, generally people have it in the evening, or they might have two meals. A lot of people have a meal tonight. You don't feel the obligation doing that, but still, it's a nice thing to do. You could say Alanissim, and it's part of the Yontiv. So that's the thing. I would not recommend to get too drunk tomorrow. If you don't usually have wine with the regular weekday meal, 1 cup of wine, I think, is enough to show that you have the Kavod Yontif. And that's about it. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe. I mean, there are other minhagim, but we don't have time to talk about it. And we wear our Shabbos clothes, or we wear costumes. Generally, the costumes are for the Suda, and the Shabbos clothes are for the Megillah. But if your costume is Shabbos clothes, the Streimel and the Rebbe Shebekish or something, you could wear that also for the Megillah. And that's why we're on Shabbos anyway, so as why is this. Alright. Freilich Yontiv, everybody. Maybe we'll live stream something tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see tonight. We'll see what happens. God bless. Please like, share, subscribe. Come. We'll see you.